So the whole transforming contact concept, what we took that as is we took the mindset of transforming contact. It's that adaptation mentality. It's the understanding how fast things are moving right now. So having a system that is completely designed from the ground up by soldiers based on mission needs is transforming contact. And that's really I think the foundation of this whole purpose-built attritable system program. Whatever the time is, we're building them to be perfect for that exact mission set. And if next week or 2 months from now it changes, then the way we build them will change. Captain Ronan Sefton, I'm the S2 for 1st Squadron, 2nd Cavalry Regiment. So the 2CR SUAS program really, I would say, started a couple of months ago with the idea to, instead of procuring exquisite systems to field to soldiers at 2CR, that we would build our own. So right now, there's 3 main line of efforts in that 2CR SUAS program. The first one is the short range reconnaissance master trainer rebluing. We fixed the master trainer training. We adjusted it, right, to use lessons learned. And we had all the master trainers in the regiment come together to unify the training across the regiment. So that's the first line of effort. The second line of effort is the first-person view or purpose-built attritable system pilot course, which is currently ongoing. And this is the second class that we've had now. First class, we qualified 24 pilots. We call them pilots because of how difficult they are to fly compared to some of the short-range reconnaissance drones. The line of effort there is to create as many qualified pilots that can fly these systems as we can across the regiment. So once this second class is complete, we'll have approximately 50 trained pilots in the regiment, which is pretty good numbers. And we've developed also instructors within those courses who will then serve as instructors for their own courses that, say, squadrons could do on their own using this equipment. And then the third line of effort is the build, where we teach individuals, especially from the Regimental Support Squadron, as well as the sustainment troops. And some of the MOSs already have the requisite knowledge to do things like build drones. So like generator mechanics and the electrician MOSs that are down there, they already know how to do soldering, right? They already know about all the kind of hard skills that are necessary to build drones. So we conduct a 3-day course where we qualify what we're calling like master builders, right? On the components of a drone and how to actually assemble one. And the goal with that too is to, instead of just teaching them to assemble this exact drone, right? We teach them to assemble drones in general. So we give them the tools they need to find the information and how to wire certain things together. So it can be a little bit complicated, and that consists of soldering, assembling the drone components with wiring, and then a little bit of coding and software at the end as well. So that's kind of the SUAS program. So welcome to the Balli Airfield lab. This is an innovation lab stood up really by 7th ADC. It's a multi-patch lab where 2CR, 173rd, and other rotational units actually participate in all types of activities surrounding really the creation of these SUAS that we've been talking about. So we'll show you kind of around the room here. Usually on the first part of the lab here in the side, we have all these soldering stations, right? This is all the necessary equipment we use to teach our build course. So the first step of the build course is to teach soldiers how to solder. So you can see some of the soldering stations. There's currently an ongoing build course for their pilots right now, teaching them to fly and solder. And then further down the lab, you can see a lot of the initial sort of testing and prototyping really all happened here in this space. Right here, we have some of the signs of earlier work that we've done here. On the left, we have an example of one of the chips that we use to actually build payload drop mechanisms for some of the drones that we were using. Here you have the computer with all the necessary programs for both CAD as well as what's called 3D printing slicing. And then you have a 3D printer here that's, as you just printed some things out. And kind of around here, we have this laboratory organized with all the necessary equipment. We wanted to make this a very efficient space where it had all of the steps necessary to building out, whether it's a drone or a dropper, where soldiers can grab the equipment they need and kind of move through the steps to reaching the final solution. So here we just have some of the display sort of projects that we've been working on. A couple things like a fixed wing. We've got an FPV drone there as an example, and then some of the droppers we have that we're going in through repair. And this sort of rocket ship looking thing is called the Sika. It's one example of an interceptor drone that would be designed to crash into another drone as a form of counter-UAS. We have all the necessary equipment we have. A lot of this really is for the dropping mechanisms. And then we had a lot of the space here that we use to actually assemble these things, right? So this This lab is split into different patches, and kind of the two permanent parties we have is 2CR with our organization, and then 173rd. So you can see 173rd has their space here. They're very, very far into everything that we've been talking about with first-person view drones and droppers. And so they have a number of 3D printers. As you can see, they have the computers where they conduct their CAD as well. And it's really a great space. And I think one of the kind of great parts about how it's multi-patch is we don't get into the stovepipe of where 2CR is only interacting with 2CR and we're not really improving each other. What's great about this space is, 2CR can be here and 173rd is here, and we're constantly working together to improve each other's designs and, maybe ask each other for assistance or ask each other to test out our designs. And so this has been a really great space for that. And I think it being here at Balli, where just outside we can conduct the live flights, is a perfect space for innovation. The whole concept is we're designing them and constantly adapting them, and there isn't this long research or sort of testing timeline that has to occur. To give you an idea, the first 3D printed drone we made was in the end of February, and it's now the beginning of April, basically mid-April, and we have 30 systems completely built, all purpose-built for different purposes. We're taking the lessons learned from Ukraine. So if you have a situation where the battlefield demands a different purpose or a different capability, with these purpose-built systems, the idea of building them ourselves is they're completely bottom-up refined. So the individual unit, down to even the squad, right, could say, this is the exact type of capability that I want. And those individuals who are trained to build, because we're spreading it across the whole regiment, they could take the components and assemble them and use different motors. They could use a different antenna. They could use a different camera. Again, if you want different capability, you can just outfit it with different equipment. I think we're learning that with how fast things are moving in the war right now in Ukraine and Russia, we can't become comfortable with the system doing everything for us. We have to be able to have the human element to adapt, right? Because that's what I think humans are good at, is adapting under environmental stress. So the system is defined exactly by how we want it to be. It's not defining how we need to fly it, right? And that's the beauty of these two is, yes, it's harder to fly these drones, for example, that are behind me, but they do exactly what the soldier tells it to do, what the pilot tells it to do. So if you train the pilot well, then the drone will be capable, rather than you need to find the most capable drone. We have a lot of extremely passionate people about this topic, and it's nobody's job, right, on paper. There is no drone builder MOS, but we have a lot of people who, particularly in 2CR, who just are passionate about this stuff. And it's all done by 2CR soldiers is kind of the big thing that I want to stress, is these incredibly complicated, engineering type activities with these drones are done by 2CR soldiers exclusively. The design, the printing, the building, and the testing. We don't have any civilians assisting us. We just have some smart green suiters who've come in, who've had particular skill sets from maybe just backgrounds that they have. And that's kind of where 2CR is shining. I think we just have these people who are just passionate about this, and that's the biggest thing.